Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Jim Howard and Jessica Howard with Train Security Allies, July 22nd, 2021. We've got a lot to cover tonight. We're really excited about some of the news and then some of the other news that's really concerning. We'll get into that in a minute. Right now, what I want to do is I'm going to turn it over to Jessica, and I'm going to let her tell us about some current events that are going on. Jessica, it's all yours.
Okay, so we have a couple of things that we just wanted to address. First of all, if you have been with us for a while, you know that we've been closely following Nicholas Vasquez, and he is a climate change activist who is walking across the entire state and disrupting churches, schools, places of business, anywhere where there's a public presence, he has gone in. So right now, he has been kind of quiet on Facebook, but based on the map that is on the website with the group that he's a part of, which we will send all this out, he left Ocala yesterday, and he is currently heading towards Gainesville. He has a court date in Sarasota on the 27th, and then he has plans to arrive in Gainesville then as well. And then from there, he's going to be moving different places, and we're going to try and keep an eye on that because a lot of his original plan has been interrupted by court dates because he keeps getting arrested for what he's been doing. So the second thing that we wanted to talk about was a church in Tuscaloosa had shots fired through its windows, and there was nobody inside the church, thankfully. But we wanted to bring this up because last week the same thing happened in Houston, and this time there were people inside, and it was a normal Sunday for them. So just make sure that you're aware of what's going on in your parking lot, and also make sure that you have some policies and procedures in case this happens in your church, because although we've only seen it twice in 2 weeks is very concerning. The other thing that we wanted to talk about is that in Riverside, Ohio, a 17-year-old was arrested for armed robbery inside of a church parking lot. He actually pointed a gun at the victims and told them to get out of their car and lay on the ground and then rob their car, and he was caught. But we wanted to address this to just kind of talk about the importance of maybe having a rover or somebody in your parking lot to prevent things like this from happening. This is a relatively new story, so I am not sure if it was on a Sunday or if it was another time in the parking lot, but still it's concerning that it happened. And then last, we wanted to talk about the Christian Emergency Network comes out with reports every week about incidences going on across the world, across the nation, just regarding churches. And one of the things that they addressed this week is that there is a reported 80% increase in church arsons across the United States over the past 2 years. And so, or 6 months, I'm sorry. And so this is most likely related to what has been going on in Canada. They have seen over 45 churches in Canada burn because of an incident that happened there. And so just remember to stay vigilant. There has also been an increase in vandalisms and burglaries happening inside of churches. So just remember to stay vigilant and make sure that you are properly securing your church.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to show you some video. This is the two gentlemen that Jessica was talking about. Nicholas Vasquez is the one that gets up on stage. Here's some video of him at a church.
So Father, God, I pray that we wouldn't see those as something negative, but we would count it a joy, count it an opportunity, God, to suffer for your glory, to go through affliction for your glory.
I'm terribly sorry to disrupt your service today, but I'm here today as part of a nonviolent protest to tell you about the greatest crime in human history, our government inaction on the climate crisis and ecological crisis. We are in a climate emergency, and I'm here to tell you that we have left it too late. My generation is facing hell on Earth. I'm on an 800-mile climate pilgrimage from Miami to Tallahassee. Today we're going to take a media.
God, you see that we are in a world that needs you. So God, we ask that you use our church to be a light in our community.
We are facing hell on Earth.
So God, as we go today, God, use us, God, to speak life, to speak encouragement, to speak love and joy in every environment we walk in, that we would.
Yeah, until these guys kind of leave Florida, we're going to be posting this a lot because we don't want anybody to be caught by surprise. It's just that if we continue to show the pictures, eventually you'll start to recognize the face in a crowd. And so we just put this out here all the time.
And I
So-
also just want to add too really quick is that with these guys, the reason why we're also really watching them is because the last time that Vasquez was arrested, it was because he went actually inside of a UCF classroom and refused to leave. So he's getting a little bit more bold in what he's doing. So we're really watching him, and I'll try to put out an email if there's any more arrests or any more information.
We try on this on Thursday nights to stay away from as much political stuff as we can. But there was something that happened a couple of weeks ago, and we heard about this through Jay Sekulow. And after doing some research, because we couldn't find anything out there about it, we finally got the document that was actually done by the IRS to an organization that was trying to get their 501c3 status. Now, when we read this, when we read what they state here, this sounds pretty good. It says your mission statement indicates that you exist to awaken, motivate, and empower ordinary believers in Jesus Christ to pray for the nation regularly, vote in every election to impact the culture, engage hearts in some form of political education or activism for the future of the nation, and strive to educate Christians on the importance of prayer, voting, and engagement in a nonpartisan manner. Now, that right there sounds pretty good. And then the second part said, though, that you also educate believers on national issues that are central to their belief in the Bible as the inherent word of God. You educate Christians in areas where they can be instrumental, as in areas of the sanctity of life, the definition of marriage, biblical justice, law versus lawlessness, freedom of speech, religious liberties, government and business ethics, human trafficking, physical responsibility in government budgeting, defense, border, and immigration in the U.S. and Israel nation. Now, you would think that this would be all right, but the IRS originally denied, it was Christians United, denied them the 501c3 status. Now, they immediately took them to court and was able to get that. But while we were listening to the Jay Sekulow stuff, we were finding out that other people who made donations to Christian organizations were also being audited, and more times than the normal person. One person had been audited 10 times because of his contributions, and the IRS told him that. Well, when he said 10 times, I'm thinking then this also happened in the previous administration, if this guy's been audited 10 times on his Christian donations. So, but I did see this document right here, and it was very, very concerning, because it appears like, as in the past, where we had them going after organizations or 501c3s that mention patriot or different things like this, this is just mentioning Christians, and also things that they want to do, like areas, sanctity of life, which would mean pro-life, the definition of marriage between one man and one woman. And the thing of it is, they continued in here and really didn't say it, but we know that they were pinpointing that this would be a conservative party that would be doing it. Well, I'm telling you right now, I know a few that organizations that are Christians that lean more to the left side. And if the IRS got a hold of what they're doing right now, they would kind of be looking at them hard also. So it does not matter what side of the fence you're on if you're teaching these type of teachings in the religious and biblical sense. So we were going to do what we call a true Christian talk on this, but it was just something that we were paying attention. We were watching it out there. And you normally don't think things like this is going to happen to you, or things like this. And it's just not the IRS. We've heard about the social media issues and things like that. So yesterday, Wendy went out and wrote on July the 10th. I'm sorry, it wasn't yesterday. This was a few weeks ago. She put this out. Jim Howard, author, executive director of Trinity Security Allies, will have a book signing event at Antioch Christian Church. So she goes into it and she said, we would like to invite those that serve in the Marion Police Department and Iowa Cedar Rapids Police Department, along with the Lynn County Sheriff's Office, to join us. Now you can see the little card that she did. Antioch Christian Church is hosting a book signing event. This looks as benign as just it can be. It really doesn't look like it would be any type of threat or anything like that. But when we went to boost it on Facebook, and what boosting means is that you pay a price, you pay an amount of money to get it out to people who have keywords in their stuff of Christian, law enforcement, first responders, different things like that. We wanted everybody in this area to see this. This is what we got. You can't run this ad. Edit ad or confirm identity. Your ad may have been rejected because it mentions politicians. I didn't know that I was in politics yet. Or is about sensitive social issues that could influence public opinion, how people vote and may impact the outcome of an election or pending legislation. Our policy for running ads about social issues, electoral politics requires you to get authorization first by confirming your identity and creating a disclaimer that lists who is paying for the ads. This is on Facebook. I mean, we just wanted to boost this, and this is what we got. We couldn't do it. Now we're requesting a review to find out why, because it just kind of took us by surprise that this happened. So today, because of the IRS issue and of course the Facebook issue that we were doing, we wanted to talk about this, Kevin Haggerty and I, on True Christian Talk. We decided that this was something that we were going to talk about, censorship, of Christians. And before we could even get online, Facebook came up and told us that we, True Christian Talk, could not go live, that we had been suspended again. So we immediately just recorded our True Christian Talk, and then we're going to post it. We're going to somehow figure out how to get it posted out there on Facebook, or we may go to another platform like YouTube. I know that there's other platforms out there, but we haven't really had an opportunity to play with those platforms. These are the two that we know fairly well. Kevin has some software that allows us to take a look, allows us to record and post at the same time so that we can keep track of what we're doing. But Facebook came out again and blocked us. Now, what they said, and this is Kevin Haggerty's account has been restricted for 60 days, And it says things you manage. And one of these pages, of course, is True Christian Talk. And so Kevin reached out to him and said, what is this about? And they came back and said that on June 5th, now we're really not for sure what date that was. We don't know if he would have to go back and check and see if it's 2021. The last time that they suspended us for 30 days, it had to do with a 2017 post that he had done. But Kevin posted this thing: the number of followers you have does not make you better than anyone else. Hitler had millions. Jesus had 12. They banned him, and they said that your post goes against our community standards on dangerous individuals and organizations. Now, I kind of had a question here. Who's the dangerous individual? Kevin, Hitler, or Jesus? Which one is it? To me, it's like he's saying Hitler was a bad guy, but yet Facebook said no one else can see your post. We have these standards to prevent and disrupt online harm. So folks, let me be perfectly clear out here. The society that we live in, the social media that we have, is not for the Christians. It truly is not. And I am afraid that we might see more of these. When Jessica talks about churches being torched and churches being vandalized, one of the reasons why is because we're running into situations like this where people are out saying terrible things about Christians. And these are the things that we need to be paying attention to. We need to be watching our social media. We need to be paying attention to people who may come in and start talking about things that doesn't sound right, that all of a sudden you're listening to a conversation and the person is talking about how bad your church is because you believe in pro-life. These are things that we really, truly need to be paying attention. And it is very concerning of what we're running into. This is just not one incident. Like I said, if you've been listening to us before, True Christian Talk, we have been suspended for 30 days before. We were able to continue to record because we have the software, we had the equipment to record, but we could not post it. We had to find a backdoor way of doing it. And I am for sure that when Facebook figures out what we were doing, they'll shut that down. But the thing is, all we're doing is talking about how Christians should be living in this fallen world and how we should completely always trust in God and what he is doing for us and how we follow him and not the government, and that we trust that he has us covered, protected. But yet, when we try to get out and talk about this, what this is going to do is it's going to drive Christianity underground, which is how the Christians did it to begin with. And we're going to continue to grow. Even if you don't agree with the Christian point of view, the thing that you should be concerned about is censorship, because it's only a matter of time. It's after a period, you will see this happen, even though you may disagree with Christian points of view. You have to watch out for if they disagree with your point of view. If you were to say something that they consider racist, if you were to say something that they consider is not against, that is against their agenda, they will come after you too and shut you down. Us just trying to push a book signing, I can't think of anything more innocent. It is not Mein Kampf. It is not anything about Marxism. It is about God's grace and God's love for us. It's about men's ministry. It's about men being able to understand that God loves us and is there for us. And there is nothing that Kevin has posted here, but we know that we step on toes all the time. We know that we do. Now, I'm really surprised that we got hit again. And for this right here to be the reason why they're saying that it is, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. This has nothing to say that Hitler was a nice guy. This just says the number of followers you have does not make you better than anyone else. I just don't understand what's going on here. But your church, and the reason why I'm telling you about this is that your church is posting things on Facebook. Your church has a Facebook page. If all of a sudden your account gets restricted, you now have a target on your back, because people are going to want to know why. And a lot of them jump on the bandwagon to see what it's all about. And the next thing you know, you got some vandalism going on. If you're pro-life and all of a sudden you have an area that is not, or you're in an area that believes in pro-choice, you could have an issue. If you come out and say that you believe that marriage is from what the biblical stance is of between one man and one woman, you could have issues. You could have problems. We have seen this happen in churches across the United States. In our area, we have seen people storm out of churches because they did not believe what the biblical teachings were being taught in that church. We have seen churches in the area here split because of things like critical race theory taught, which is against the Bible. God created us in his image, everybody in his image. We are all one. We all are one blood. We have to understand that anything said different is against Christ's teachings. So please understand, this is going on out here. This could affect your church. This could affect you. This could affect your organization. If you donate money to a charitable Christian organization, you could be brought in from the IRS and taken a look at. You really, truly need to be making sure that you watch the things that you're doing, but speak the truth, but do not get into arguments with any of these social medias. Do not get into arguments on your page. If somebody comes and disagrees with you, just tell them, hey, we all have the right to disagree. I respect your opinion, but move on. Do not get into an argument with them, because all it's going to do is they're going to contact somebody, and the next thing you know, your account may be restricted for 60 days. And let me say something about Kevin, because Kevin is a really good friend of mine. But Kevin does a lot of work with teachings on the Bible that he's doing that's been restricted now. Some of the other pages he does is for addicts and people who have abuse problems. He is a person, a strong Christian that is out here for those that have drug issues and things like that. So we have to make sure that he is out here. I mean, he needs to be out here because of the followers that he has. He is helping those that need to be helped. And we just have to pay attention to what is going on around us at all times, because if not, you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to be restricted because of you saying something that Facebook felt that it does not meet their standards, and they're afraid that you're going to disrupt offline harm, which just is ludicrous. But yet, you still see people out here spewing hate. You still see people out here on Facebook. And what I plan on doing is to go out and look at these and show how these people have been doing this. And the Christian church is the one, or the Christians are the ones that are truly under attack. Going to go through a couple of things that's going on here, and then we'll open it up to questions and answers. We have members only Thursday, August the 18th, 2021. Our last members only, we had a lot of good questions and a lot of information that was passed around. These are for you. This is not something that I set the agenda. This is for you to come out and tell us about issues and concerns that you have at your church. We talked to one church that they're having a problem maintaining a safety team. Well, I think that you should go to your church and really approach the men's ministry and say, this is really what we were built for. Now, trust me, I love having ladies on our safety team. I think they spot things quicker sometimes, as far as when we get into heuristics and we get into biometrics. I feel like they spot them a lot faster sometimes than we do. But I really want us to understand that men want to serve in the church. And if they're not comfortable, I wasn't comfortable in the children's ministry. I'll tell you, I didn't have the patience for it. Well, I'm dealing with adult children now, but it is something that we need to be talking about. Those that are looking for a place to serve, that feel like it might not be manly enough, and I use that term with quotation marks, then this is an opportunity for them to serve in the church. So this is members only Thursday on August the 18th. We hope to see you out there. We will be in Antioch Christian Church Saturday, July the 13th. And we're going to be talking about something that we're going to be presenting as one of our new trainings, and that's on mental health. Because folks, we don't want, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people that run from somebody that walks in that they feel like might have a mental health issue. The problem of it is, if we do not help them, what are we doing? Are we not supposed to be helping these people? Didn't Christ say, I did not see you helping those that need help? This is something that we're going to talk about. I'm not saying that we're going to become psychiatrists. I'm not going to say that we're going to become counselors. But what I'm talking about is that we need to have some sort of resources and some sort of way that if a person comes in and has a mental health issue, that we can sit down and do a quick analysis on it to see if whether or not the problem is mental health, or if the problem is they need to be surrounded by other Christians. They need to be surrounded by people that see it the same. I mean, that can help them celebrate recovery, all these hurt habits and hangups, different things like that. We need to make sure that when those come into our church and go to speak to us, that we as safety team members that might spot it before anybody else does, we need to make sure that we have a way to get them the help that they need. Like I said, I'm not talking about us becoming counselors. I'm not talking about us becoming psychiatrists, but there has been a large increase in mental health issues, especially since COVID. We saw an increase to the suicide hotline. We saw an increase of overdoses. And there's just people out here that are still hurting. It is a mixed up world right now with different messages being sent all over the place. And we as a church need to make sure that we are paying attention to who is coming into our church before it might disrupt our church. I mean, we've had it happen in our church, but we need to be there so that we can get them the help that they need. So this is something that we'll be talking a lot about here in the future. It is something that we're working on it very hard. There's a couple of things that I'm doing in the background so that I can get more prepared for this. So be looking for it. All right, here we go. Saturday, August 7th, 2021, 9 o'clock a.m. to 11:30. We're going to be at Vine Life Christian Church. We're going to be doing our new training called What If. We're really excited about this training. We're hoping that maybe you could join us. It is out in Brooksville, but they are a great church, and I love going out there. The people are fantastic, and I'm looking forward to being there. August the 7th, 2021 at 9 o'clock to 11:30. Save the date, folks. Our 5th annual Church Safety and Liability Conference is happening. It's going to be Saturday, October the 16th from 8 o'clock a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Now, let me say something. Members of Trinity Security Allies, and you know who you are, and plus my safety team, if any of my safety teams out here, you have a free seat. You have a free seat. But what we need you to do is make sure that you secure your seat no later than August 15th before we open this up, because we really feel this is going to be our biggest. Last year, we had a huge crowd. This year, it could be even better. This year, we may end up being inside the worship center. I'm just saying that we could look at that as the crowd and be there. Seats are limited for non-members. Okay, from July the 11th to July 31st, if you're a non-member, tickets are now at $55. They will increase August the 1st to $65, and after September 1, $75, and the day of the event, they're $80. Now, let me say something. For $55, you get to come in and you get breakfast, you get snacks, you get lunch, and plus you get some incredible information that you can't get anywhere else. And the big thing that we're not, I want this to sound the right way. We are blessed at the keynote speaker that we're going to have this year. Frank Pomeroy, the lead pastor for the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs, will be sharing a message of hope along with the importance of safety and a plan in place. Now, this was in June when we went to Texas. They had a fundraiser for one of their members inside the church, Julie Workman's son, and I had the opportunity to meet Frank. Frank is a down-to-earth guy. I mean, you can tell, you can just look at this guy and know that he is just somebody that you want to kind of sit down and talk with. Frank and his wife lost their 14-year-old daughter on the day of the shooting. Neither one of them were there at the church. I don't even know how you go through this. I truly do not. I don't know how you live through this. It would just be difficult for me. I do know that I would recover because I do know that God is there. And I do know that I would be able to see my daughters again because I know where they're going. But Frank has an incredible message. I cannot wait to hear it again. I want you to come out. Please go to trinitysecurityallies.com. Look at our event, the church safety event, the conference. Sign up today and make sure that you make it and come and hear Frank. All right. I see that there's a couple of questions out there, Jess.
There was just talk about one of the dates was wrong. Yeah.
Which one was that?
August 18th is a Wednesday, so it's Thursday, August 19th. And now a catch by James Shoemaker.
Oh, yeah, that's the Marine in him. Yep. Thank you, James. I appreciate it.
And Ed just said that he is looking forward to it.
I can't wait to come back out, Ed. I'm really looking forward to it also.
Mother also said that we need to mention that Kevin Haggerty is a pastor.
Yes, he is a pastor. Oh, gosh, and I'll think of his church here in a second. Next Level Church in Holiday. Anything else?
Just Tony Ryan saying hello.
Hey, Tony, I hope you get to feeling better. Tony is one of the guys that is on our safety team, and unfortunately, he's been hit hard by the COVID virus. Folks, it is out here. Believe me, it is alive and well. We took kids to the Christian in Youth Summit this year in Cleveland, Tennessee at Lee University, and came back with it. So it is alive and well. Please, make a decision on what you want to do with this. I'm not going to get into whether you should take the vaccine or not. It is a personal issue. It is one that I have dealt with and I've worked with, but you need to be very aware that it is still alive out here. It has not gone away. Tony, I hope you get to feeling better, brother. All right, we're going to continue. USCCA is going to be at the conference again. Ricky's going to come back and talk. It's going to be exciting. There's a lot of people that are going to be talking. We're going to be talking about medical. We're going to be talking about human trafficking. We're going to be talking about children's safety. It is things that you need to hear. You need to have your pastors there so that they start to listen and they pay attention to what is happening. This is not anything we can continue to push off anymore. If your church does not have a safety team, and I know that everybody on here has a safety team or you wouldn't be here tonight. But the thing is, if you know of a church that doesn't have one, start talking to them and talk about the free resources that we have out here. We're more than happy to work with any church that we possibly can and get them the free resources, but they have to first come to the table. That's just all there is to it. If they don't, there's nothing we can help them with. USCCA, if you defend your family, who protects you? So you should not be carrying a concealed weapon without having some sort of protection. You don't drive a car without insurance. You should not be doing it with your concealed weapon. The books are still out here. Receive a paperback copy of God's Unseen Plan. We're getting great reviews from it. I still don't understand why, but people that I don't even know are coming up to me and telling me how much they enjoy the book. So we will be having it there at the conference. Maybe I can talk Wendy into having a drawing and maybe give a few away. We'll see. Well, I'm not promising anything because she may beat me up on that. But go out to TrinitySecurityAllies.com to order your book. $20 donation. We'll sign it and send it right to you. Please do not go to Amazon. Do not buy it off Amazon. It's another story for another day. We have these free resources. Like I said, if you come across a church that all of a sudden is talking about putting together a safety team, these resources are out there. Putting together a safety plan, developing a safety team, carrying weapons in church, and Sunday morning, what to look for. We have an online membership program. Sign up today to access our online church safety training library for just $25 a month. Live online training that you can access at any time and share with your team. A membership will give you a ticket to our annual Church and Safety Liability Conference, and a membership, of course, supports the ministry. So go out on TrinitySecurityAllies.com membership for more information. Also, we have the church safety and security membership program. This is $125 a month or $1,200 for the year, and it includes two-hour training sessions, whatever you want. And we've got a full gamut of training now. We're doing a lot of different trainings that we have not done in the past. Schedule phone call consultations on safety concerns as needed. 5 tickets to the annual Church and Safety Liability Conference. Discounted full strength and weakness assessment with recommendations detailing priorities in your house of worship. Safety team has full access to online library and monthly member calls. If your church cannot afford a membership, consider a local business. We have multiple people who have done this. They have people inside their church that are concerned about the safety and pay for their membership. They can be sponsoring your church through the Century Club. Once again, visit Trinity Security Allies or contact Wendy at Trinity Security Allies. And we're open for questions if anybody has any more questions.
We have something from Mom or Wendy Howard, and she just said that we all need to be praying for safe travels for Jim. He is training in Bristol, Wisconsin on Friday/Saturday. And then James Shoemaker said that he will be going to Pennsylvania in September. He said that he sent a note to USCCA to see what he needed to do while driving through Maryland, and they replied immediately explaining what to do. So that's really good of them.
USCCA has really good videos and a lot of good information they put out. That is one of the reasons why I like them. In the past, where you were an NRA member, and I'm not saying anything against NRA, there's a lot of people out here that are members. They send you a magazine that has a lot of good information. So does USCCA. They talk about tactics. They talk about all sorts of things. They have good information. They look at different guns and give you reviews and different ammunition and things like that. You get a lot for your membership. It's not just something that you pay and don't hear from them again. They do give you a lot of information that is very important, especially just like what James said, when you're traveling and the different things like that. If you know of somebody that is interested in USCCA and does not have it or have never heard about it, recommend it, because if they go through our website, Trinity Security Allies, and click on it and give them a new email to download some of the free stuff that they have out there. We put out, I believe it was 7 things that you need to know in case of a shooting, which I thought would be something that somebody might want to know about. But go out there, take a look at them. Anything else, Jess?
I do not see anything else.
Folks, if there's nothing else, I want to say thank you for coming out. God bless you for your interest in this, and your just your dependability of coming out and learning more about what we need to be paying attention to that is facing our churches and our country right now. We have to be concerned of the religious freedoms that we have. We do not want them to disappear. We want to make sure that we're paying attention to what is happening. I live, the ones that are here in Florida, it is a great state because our governor has done a lot of things as far as protecting us, where other states don't have the luxury that we do. So make sure that you are informed. You can be informed by going to the right web pages or listening to us on True Christian Talk or different things like that we're talking about, of things that affect the church and you. And if there's nothing else, I'm going to say good night, because I have to get up at 3:30 in the morning for my flight to Wisconsin. So God bless you. God bless this country, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.